In our fast-paced world, the quest for work-life harmony or work-life balance is such a common challenge that many of us face. Balancing demanding jobs, our personal commitments, and our careers can feel like we're on a tightrope. And often we wonder if it's even possible to have it all without sacrificing our health and happiness. Today, on day 8 of the 12 Days of Career Goals, we're going to tackle this very challenge. And the question that often arises is, how do we find that sweet spot where our professional and our personal lives coexist in harmony without one overtaking the other? So hello and welcome. I'm Teresa White, career clarity coach and the founder of Career Bloom. And I am thrilled to introduce today's guest expert, Ana Goehner. Ana is a career strategist, career well-being expert, and a certified HR specialist. Her inspiring journey from a solo immigrant and first-generation college grad to becoming a leader in the career well-being space is nothing short of remarkable. She's been featured in Fast Company, Time, LinkedIn News, HuffPost, just to name a few. And today she is here with us to share her insights and help us prioritize our well-being to achieve our career goals while maintaining a healthy work-life balance. So without further ado, let's welcome Ana to the stage.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today.
So happy to have you, Ana. And I am so excited to kick this off and talk all about work-life harmony. And I've got to ask you that question. What do you prefer? Snowy holidays or beach holidays?
Beach holidays, 1,000,000%. So if people don't know, I grew up in Brazil. I'm a December baby, so I'm used to warm weather. And I've been, living in the US for the last 15 years, and I still cannot deal with the cold. So I wish I was in Hawaii right now.
It is so funny that you moved from a warm country to a cold country and you still prefer the warm Christmas. I'm like the opposite. I'm from Germany originally. So I moved from Germany, cold Christmas, to Hawaii, where we have beach Christmas and warm Christmas. And I love the warm weather. I don't miss the cold one bit. But just on Christmas Day, I do wish for a white, snowy Christmas. That is still, and I think that's probably what you grew up with. It's like, that is still like a very special, just one day a year. I like the cold. I would love to hear from everyone tuning in. Say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and drop in there. What's your preference, beach holidays, or are you a cold and snowy holiday person? Let us know what your dream holiday looks like. I would love to hear from everyone tuning in. But it is time to talk about work-life harmony. Such a huge, huge topic. And Ana, I would love to ask you, what were the moments in your career that made you realize the importance of work-life harmony?
Sure. So I'm an immigrant, as Teresa mentioned. I grew up an overachiever, and I grew up with this mindset that work dignifies you. Is something that was passed down, by my parents and grandparents. So when I came to the US, I was already, I already had a lot of corporate experience. So I just delve deep into work. Work was like my top priority because I really wanted to make it in America, as I used to think, as I like to say. So I pretty much, I did everything I could to just grow and thrive in this country, right? So it's what happened to me was like I went from like a toxic work environment into the next, and I didn't know how to get out of that cycle. So I would go, from one place to another, stressed out. I felt like I didn't have a voice. I didn't know how to break away from this cycle. So at the end of 2019, it was a really stressful time at work. And it was a really inconvenient time to schedule a doctor's appointment that would take about 2 hours, based on what I needed. But I really felt like I had to do it. I looked myself in the mirror and I really felt like I need to do something about it. And the backstory of that was that 8 months prior to that, I started feeling this chest pain. And I thought it was just like, oh, I just pulled a muscle. It's nothing. You talk yourself out of it. And then you just go about your life. You just go about work. You just go about everything. But I really have this situation, like this epiphany, and I was like, I need to do something about this. This is not normal. It's been 8 months now. Then I decided to schedule a mammogram, and that was my first. And then, mid 30s, this is not something that insurance covers, so I had to deal with a lot of setbacks to even go through that. And when I went to that appointment at this inconvenient time at work, that was the appointment that changed my life forever. I had this appointment, and within a week, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. That was it for me. That was the moment that changed my life forever, because the first thing that came to mind, I remember being in that room receiving that diagnosis. The first thing that came to my mind was, I could have done better. I didn't take better care of myself. And I'm not saying that it was my fault in any way, shape, or form, but it was the moment that made me think about all the things that I didn't do for myself. The health and well-being, that was always like in the back burner. I never thought about, those things before. And I thought I could have been healthier. I could have thought about work, even though I was an overachiever, it could be more of this harmonious thing in my life instead of being like the top priority. Right. So I think that was the moment that I really had to, take a step back and like, okay, now my top priority is going to be my health. And since then, I continue to work, past that, past the whole experience that you have to go through, because it takes months. It's not just something that, once you found out. Once I found out, it took me months. And I still, to this day, I take, medicine and things like that. So it's an ongoing thing. But today, my top priority is my health. My career is important. I love what I do. But I'll give you an example of how I make this a priority. Like this morning, for example, I had a lot of things going on. And I decided that I had these two options in my hands. Do I post on LinkedIn and, post more about this live event, or do I go to the gym for 30 minutes and take a class that I enjoy? I mean, when I think about it, it's like, yes, like being on LinkedIn is important. I love spreading, this message, it's my mission. But I made health my top priority. So I made that decision this morning, and I say, okay, for me, what feels like a harmonious situation right now is to go to the gym and, be around people and have that connection for 30 minutes. So this is just like a little bit of the backstory of why I am in this space, why I love this subject so much, because I feel like when we talk about work and life harmony, and it's usually like this 50-50 idea of this scale that doesn't exist. This doesn't exist. And I feel like a lot of people really don't like this concept because they feel like, I'm not doing enough at work. I'm not doing enough at home. I'm stressed, I'm burned out, and I don't know what to do with this. So I feel like I love the word harmony. I love blend. I love integration. Anything that gives you the idea more of like work is part of life. And my life sometimes can also be a part of work, because there are going to be times that you are at work thinking about what's going on in your personal life. So yeah, that is why I'm here right now talking to you all about work and life harmony. And I know we're going to talk even more about it.
Oh, Anna, thank you for sharing your story with us. It's just such an impactful story, but also an empowering story of how you were able to change your life. And thank God you're healthy and you're here with us today. And you're so strong. And what I love about you is that you took that very, very challenging situation and the cancer diagnosis that you went through and now made it your mission to help others to not go through what you've gone through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
And I would like to tap into, let's actually say some hellos here in the chat. Karen, we're sending so much love to your
Yeah,
sister.
I'm so sorry.
That is so hard.
Yeah, each person's journey is different. That's all I want to say. I am so sorry for your sister, but each person's story is going to be different. Each person's journey, each person's process is going to be different growing to this whole thing. So tell your sister to not fall for the things that she might read in forums and, online social media and stuff, because each person goes through this process, and they all have a different treatment. That's all what I wanted to say here. So I am really sorry about that.
So thanks for tuning in from New York. We have Vancouver right here. We have Bolivia. This is amazing. So if you're here today, let us know where you're tuning in from. We always love to see you in the chat. Also, if you have any questions, don't be shy to drop them in there. We are here to answer your questions as well. And Anna, I wanted to dive into something that you mentioned more in the beginning of your story, is that you felt invisible or inadequate in work environments. Mm-hmm. How did you navigate these feelings, and what advice would you have to others who are in similar situations today?
So when you are in this situation, some of the things that you feel sometimes, it could be like resentment, because you feel like you can't speak up, you can't do anything about it, you just have to accept things as they are, and that's not true. I wanted to tell you that's not true. I had a lot of feelings like I wasn't enough, and I, like I mentioned earlier, like this feeling of I was never going to make it in America, I wasn't made for this country, all these different things, all the call it imposter syndrome, call it anything you want it. Like it's all these things, all the negative things that come to your brain when you are in these environments that really they're not made to help you grow and thrive, right? Unless you want to fit in, unless you want to be like the people in those environments, and I would say that even when you do all the things, because I have done it, to try to fit in, you're never going to feel a sense of belonging there, because they don't accept you the way you are. Like for me, I can tell you that I was asked to straighten my hair. As you can tell, this is natural, this is curly. I was asked to buy expensive clothes, something that I don't usually do. I don't do it. In that sense, sometimes you have to go into depth just to look the part, right? And I that goes against my values. And there's the fact that, as you can tell, I have an accent because I wasn't born and raised here. I came here after college. So I was also asked to get accent reduction classes. So all these different things that happened to me, just to kind of made me feel even more like, it's small, right? Like in these corporate environments. So what I want to tell you is you don't have to suffer alone, and you can seek help for what's happening to you. It can be a friend, it can be a family member, but it can also be therapy. I'm a huge proponent, a huge advocate for therapy. And it's important to find the right person that understands what you're going through. I know, because I tried different people, and it took me a while to find a therapist that was good for me, that understood where I was coming from, in this whole idea of feeling invisible and stuff. And ultimately, I will say, if you are in a toxic, unhealthy, however you want to call the type of environment you are in, the ultimate goal is always to leave that place and find a positive work environment. A huge part of the work I do is also to help people find a more positive environment for them, because what might be positive for me or healthy for me might not be the same for somebody else. Somebody else, they thrive in an environment that is fast paced, like a startup environment kind of thing. And for me, that's not really my vibe. I need different things. So I think it's important to find that workplace, that environment that sees you as you are, instead of trying to change you. And in that whole thing, we can talk about the whole, I know that's not the point here, but something that comes to mind is the whole like culture fit situation, right? Because if you didn't get the job because you were not a fit, then like you don't want the job, because really, like, you're never gonna feel like you are a part of that place unless you change who you are to be like everybody else there, you
Yeah.
know?
I think that is something we often feel like we can't be ourselves at work. And I've dealt with that for a long time. Like, we can't be ourselves. We have to like put on kind of that mask when we go to work because we're not accepted for who we are. And that is so incredible, exhausting, and draining when we have to put on a mask and be someone who we are not at work. And it hurts me to hear that you were asked to straighten your hair and take accent reduction classes. The thing with the accent, I got a lot because I have an accent too. So I feel you on that. And it is, why can't we just accept people the way they are and welcome them the way they are? And I love that you're encouraging people to find a work environment that does that, because they do exist. There are amazing companies
Mhm.
out there, and they value diversity, they value inclusion, and they're not just saying it, but they make that a lived experience for their employees. And those are the companies that will actually value who you are and what you bring to the table.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, and you mentioned working so much that your personal life and your health came on the back burner. And I do think that is something a lot of people deal with. And burnout is such a significant challenge for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Can you tell us about some strategies that you adopted and that might help others to overcome burnout or not even head in that direction and prioritize your well being in the workplace?
Sure. So burnout is, let's say, you're coming from a place that has ongoing stress. It's stress like it's taking over your life. I've been there a couple of times. So it's really that state where you feel like you lack the energy to do even the things that you enjoy. So, sometimes burnout, there, depending if you are in the beginning stages of burnout, there are things that you can do in a sense that you can maybe work with a coach, maybe you can talk to family members and friends, and that can be, maybe somebody at work that can be supportive and helpful. But depending on the stage of burnout, that's a medical situation.
Yeah.
So you might need multiple things besides having the support and going to therapy. You may also need maybe the help of a doctor, depending on what you have going on. So I want to make that clear. There are things that you can do to ease the burden, but depending on how you're feeling, like if you really have no pleasure in doing the things that you used to love doing, that is something bigger, you can have a lot of coping mechanisms and things that you can do when you're feeling that way. But I also think that it's important to emphasize that maybe you want to seek a therapist, maybe you want to even go see your primary care physician, depending on what's going on with your body. So listen to your body. That's the first thing I want to say. So when you're trying to figure it out, if you're ongoing stress, or if you even are in that stage of burnout, if you're trying to figure that out, the first step that I want to say is, when you are feeling that way, think about what are the triggers. It's important to identify the triggers. Let's say you're working and then next thing you know, something comes to your inbox. It's like some task that you're supposed to do that you don't like doing. Was it the task? Was it the person? Was it your manager? There's something going on in your personal life that is causing you to feel even more, burned out and stressed out all the time, because it's stressed up by your life, right? Ongoing stress is the problem, because ongoing stress is the thing that leads to burnout. Is that state that you, like I said, you have no energy, really exhausted, you can't do anything. Your mental health suffers. Your mind, it's your mind, body, everything, including your relationships. Because what happens sometimes is like you are in such a state that you might lash out at a family member, a friend, or somebody you love. You didn't mean to do that, but you just don't know how to react otherwise, right? So I think it's important to identify the triggers, because these things don't happen like, you may feel stressed, like, let's say like doing this thing might be a little bit like stressful or something, like being on a live event or something, but that's a one-time thing that goes away, right? But when you have ongoing like heavy workloads, and things, and people are expecting so much of you at work, and you're working like 60 hours a week nonstop, that's when that ongoing chronic stress can lead to burnout. So the other thing you can do, of course, is boundaries. We talk about boundaries, all the time. But boundaries is a tricky situation because nobody can read your mind unless you really communicate what, for example, sometimes you get emails at 9 p.m. at night, and that's not a time that you want to be looking at emails. So unless you communicate that to your manager and to your team and just say, hey, if I get emails after 7 p.m., I'm not going to be looking at my phone because, at night I like to do like a, I just like to do other things or be with my family, then let them know. Because what's going to happen if you don't do that? They are going to send a message, let's say at 9 p.m., and then next thing you know, there's this back and forth. And you get that anger, like growing on you because it's like, oh, now I have to reply. I have to go sit in my computer and do X, Y, and Z. But nobody knows that you're feeling that way.
True.
People can't read your mind. They don't know that you stop, doing something with a family member to go sit at your computer. They don't know that you're doing that, right? So I think it's important that the other thing that I also want to say when it comes to boundaries is important that you communicate them, but it's also important that you respect them. Because if you're not respecting your own boundaries, let's say you don't want to look at your phone past 8 p.m. You want to do this like detox, let's say this social media detox. You don't want to look at your phone past 8 p.m. But next thing you know, it's 11 p.m. and you're there. So it's important for you to respect your own boundaries too. The other, were you going to
Go
say
ahead.
something?
No, go ahead.
I was also going to say like mindfulness, right? Like we talk about mindfulness so much, but I always want to emphasize, whenever I talk to people about this, my emphasis is always, what does that mean for you? Like, what is good for you? For me, I try gentle yoga here and there, but it never really seems to stick. But meditation was something that I was able to do, more often. So let me try, meditation instead. One thing that I do every single day is a walk. I love walking. So to me, that is a mindful moment for me. So think about the thing that works for you. The other thing is, like I said, seek support. It could be friends, family, it could be a therapist, it could be your doctor. I mean, whoever can help you in that situation. And when you are in that situation, it's important to have at least one coping mechanism. For me, I tried like deep breath, like, deep breathing. I think it's a thing at the moment when I'm feeling that way. I need to take a deep breath just to kind of get that thing, it's almost like get it out of, get it off my chest kind of thing. So for you, it could be something else. For you, it could be, I don't know, I just need to like leave my desk for a second, whatever that looks like for you. And if, you work for a company, check out if they have employee assistant programs, or also known as EAP, because those sometimes they offer mental health resources, including therapy, a couple therapy sessions. So I highly recommend that you seek these resources to help you cope with ongoing stress and burnout.
Those are such great strategies you shared, Anna. Thank you for that. I really think like seeking support is so important. I'm a huge advocate for therapy, so I absolutely agree. The employee assistance program is such a great resource. I love the slow yoga. Like my go-to is yin yoga. I do that once a week and it's the best. Yin yoga. But as you said, something different works for everyone. If that's going for a walk or meditation or yoga or breathing, find something that you actually enjoy doing. And you just tapped into the boundaries, which is such a big topic. And I want to dive into that a little bit more and wonder, I personally struggle with setting boundaries. And I think a lot of people out there do. What are some practical tips that you can share that helps us set effective boundaries in the workplace and then help us improve our well-being?
I think we all, and let's be realistic about this, we all struggle with boundaries, even myself. Like I can, talk to you all day, but yeah, there might be a time here and there that I might struggle saying no to a person or saying no to an invitation of, something I don't want to do or I don't want to go to, right? So like if we're talking work, let's say you have a heavy workload. So it's important for you to kind of map like what is making it heavy. Is it the amount of tasks? Is it like because other people are not doing their job? Like what's going on? And then once you have that list or those things like on paper, talk to your manager. Try to figure it out if they can come up, you together can come up with ideas like, can you delegate something to somebody else on the team? Because your manager might have a better idea of what everybody on the team has on their plate, what they have going on. And, it's important for you to, like, if you already know, like, who could be doing this job because they do a better job at it. Let's say they know Excel really well and you really need these like, things done in Excel. Maybe they might do it in like 10 minutes, while for you it might take 1 hour, right? So find ways that you can, come to your manager and communicate what's going on, because I learned from my experiences that your manager, managers are not mind readers. So if you are delivering things, if you're doing things and you don't have any sort of performance issue or anything going on, in their minds, everything is good. Right? Like why would they suspect that you're struggling, that you're working 60 hours a week to get things done, right? So I think it's important, again, going back to that communication, important to communicate, right? And let them know what's going on. And hopefully they would help you out and come up with a solution, and and hopefully this is temporary too, right? Like maybe this is just for like a week or two, it's not for like 8 months, right? So the other thing that I would say is, again, the communication, right? So if you have things that you want to do in the evenings, maybe you want to go for yoga class, maybe you want to go to the gym, maybe you just want to sit and read, let people know that you're not going to be replying or reading emails and things like that, because I think it's important to, hopefully your team has those kind of boundaries, because the best managers I ever worked for, and hopefully they'll watch this, you know who you are, they were really good at not, sending emails after hours. And if they did, the first line on the email would be, I do not expect you to reply to this message until tomorrow morning. So, unless it was something urgent,
Yeah.
other than that, it's like, so we wouldn't like even look at messages at night.
Right.
But if you are in the situation where there's this ongoing expectation, try to talk about it and explain that for you is impacting your life, your personal life, your time doing things you enjoy, your time with your family, and hopefully something is going to be done. Because if nothing is done, my friend, you know what to do, right? I know sometimes we can't just leave a job, and believe me, I've been there. I stayed in jobs for many, many years that I should have left in the first month, right? But just know that there's something you can do. There are things that you can, if things are not good right now, start looking for a better, positive environment. Don't wait until the last minute when you are in this situation where burnout is eating you alive, that you really need to leave your job. Because then you might end up in another situation that's not good for you, just because you are really desperate to leave your current job. The last thing I want to emphasize here is, set your priorities for the day. And what I like to teach my clients is the three daily items on your list. What are the three things that you must do today? Once you do those things and try to work on them, especially when you are more energized. I mean, if for you is in the morning, great. If it's after lunch, great. So whenever you feel more energized, try to work on these tasks and get them done. Even if they are hard things to do, get them done first. Then everything else that happens, that's going to be like a second, an afterthought. Like once those three things are done, then you're going to think about all the other things that you got to do. And I know how it works. You're going to have interruptions, you're going to have calls, you're going to have people coming to talk or chat or whatever. So it's important for you to block time in your, this saved my life, in corporate America. Block time in your calendar to work on the top priorities that you have for the day. And then, you're going to get invitations for meetings and different things, but at least you have that sense of accomplishment. I finished these three things today. That's a win.
That is such a good strategy, Anna, of setting three priorities and then blocking time in your calendar so others respect the time that you need to get your top priorities done for today.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love, and it's such a practical tip that you can implement right away.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know you've achieved a lot in your career. I mean, looking at where you are today, while still managing and prioritizing your health and happiness. I know that is important to you. You talk a lot about it, and you manage to prioritize it. I love that you did it this morning. That was 100% the right choice, because that was what was important to your health and happiness. So, what are some strategies for others to start prioritizing or improve prioritizing their health and happiness while still being successful in their career?
If you get anything out of this conversation, the one thing I want you to get away is put yourself in your calendar. And why I'm saying this, what does this mean? It's like we usually tend to, give our time freely to people and things and work and family members, but we always put our, the things that bring us joy, the things that we want to do, like it's always like an afterthought. It's always like in the back burner, right? So I want you to start putting yourself in your calendar. What does that mean? So start maybe with 30 minutes twice a week. You're going to do something that you enjoy. That could be you're going to read a book, you're going to go for a walk, you're going to go to the gym, you're going to start a new hobby, maybe start playing pickleball. Something along those lines is important for you to do at least once or twice a week, something that brings you joy, something that you always looking forward to go to that class or to do that activity. It could be just sit on the couch and drink a cup of tea. Anything that you feel like is going to soothe you and make you feel good, about yourself. Because when we are happy, or when we have those feelings, of fulfillment and purpose and things, we show up differently for the people in our lives. We show up differently at work. We show up differently for our families, for kids and spouses. I mean, we show up differently because we are doing at least once or twice a week something for ourselves that make us feel good. It's that me time, is that it's important for you to take care of yourself. And it's even more important that you don't wait until you receive a horrible diagnosis like I did to do something about it. So, and because for many many years that was me, I would come home from work and I would do nothing. So I think it's important. And if you can, like I mentioned earlier, do something with other people. Like if you can go to a place where you have that connection, because it's important for us to feel that sense of community. It's okay to exercise at home. I do it all the time. But if you want, if it's something, exercise or a hobby, like go to the library, something along those lines. It's important to be around people. I think it's we need, even for introverts like me, we need that social connection. We need somehow to be at least around one or two people, right? So I think this is like the takeaway that I want you all to take. And what I want to say too is your health and well-being are your biggest assets. If you're not healthy, you can be a top performer at work. That promotion is not going to mean anything to you because you're not healthy. Like at work you are a superstar, but in your personal life, like you're struggling. There's so much going on with you, with your health, that you can go up a flight of stairs and all these different things. So I think it's important to think, that's how I when I talk about career well-being, what I wanted to take away is you are you're being intentional about prioritizing, choosing to care for your well-being in the same way that you care for your career goals, you care for achieving things at work. I think it's important it's okay to think about yourself. It's okay to think about your health, because my friends, I wanted to know this. No one out there is looking out for you. No one is looking out for your health. No one is looking out for your well-being. So it's up to you to really like do as much as you can to bring more of those things to your life, to bring more of those feelings of fulfillment, enjoyment. And what I want to say too is, when you think about work and life harmony, it's about what you value. If for you today, in this season of your life, let's say you need to leave work at 5 because your child is playing soccer at 6 p.m. and you want to be there for them, that's great. It's okay. And then maybe if you have something to finish later, you finish later, or maybe this is it for you. You're working 40 hours a week and that's okay. You're not like trying to chase this, you're not trying to become the CEO of the company or something just because right now in this season of your life, your top priority is to spend more time with your family or to show up to more of your kids' activities and stuff. And that's okay. That's when I say that it's okay to like have both things, meaning it's okay to have a job you enjoy and be doing okay in your job. And it's okay to be prioritizing your health, well-being, and being there for your loved ones. So those are some of the things that I want you all to take away from this conversation that really has helped me to be where I am today and be healthy and happy and doing something I love.
I love that, Anna. That was so eye-opening when you said that we're choosing to care about our career, because I do. I definitely care about my career. It's super important to me. And I choose to care about all my clients. But am I also choosing to care about my well-being? And that is huge, Anna. Really, I love that you said that it is a choice. It is a choice we make, right? We can make a choice to care about ourselves, put ourselves on our calendar, or we can choose not to. And that can have very drastic different consequences if we don't. So love the message that put yourself on your calendar and care about yourself just as much as you care about other people in your life and as you care about your career. If there's any questions, please drop them in the chat while we still have the amazing Anna here. But in the meantime, Anna, how can people get in touch with you?
So you can go to my website, is my name, anagoehner.com, and she's gonna switch.
Yeah, there's your website.
Yes, yeah, that's my website. Also, I'm on LinkedIn every day, Instagram, YouTube. So find me in all, these social media platforms and go to my website because I have I'm embarrassed to say, but I have a fantastic quiz there that is called What's Your Career Wellbeing Score? And that's like a first step for you to kind of understand where you are right now in that journey, to see, maybe you need to make some changes. Maybe you need a better work environment. Maybe you need a, new job altogether because where you are right now is really not serving you. So I highly recommend that you take it's a free quiz. So
and
yeah.
I'm taking it. I absolutely love it. So absolutely, all of you gotta take Anna's quiz and follow her on LinkedIn and all the other platforms because she shares so much incredible advice. And I'm motivated and empowered every day that I read your posts. And it speaks to so many people out there who are looking for more balance or more harmony in their career. Karen, thank you for being here. We really appreciate that. Anna, thank you for being here and sharing such incredible advice with us. I definitely took a lot of way, and I know that our audience did as well. And I do think it has inspired at least one person to put themselves first or put themselves on their list of priorities as well to find more of a work-life harmony.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. And what Teresa just said is exactly my goal. If at least one of you took something away from this conversation, I'm happy.
Thank you again, Anna, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye, everyone.
Wasn't that just absolutely incredible? Anna has most definitely inspired me, but I hope she has inspired you too. And I love that she has given us such practical strategies to find more of a balance between our work and our life, or more harmony between those two. My biggest takeaway for sure was to put myself on the calendar, because as Anna said, is your health and well-being are your greatest assets. Without your health and well-being, we don't have anything. We can't be successful in our careers when we're not healthy and when we're not well. So choosing our well-being as a priority, just as we choose to care about our career, about our clients or our family, is so important. And I also loved Anna's advice to communicate because, as she said, no one can read our mind. I often wish we could. It would make life so easy. But really, people don't unless we communicate what we need and what we want and how we feel. Others don't know. So, setting boundaries and communicating boundaries and respecting our own boundaries is huge. And I also love that Anna advocates for mindfulness and for seeking support, no matter if that is a support system in the people that you're surrounded with, or in professional support like seeing a therapist. Those can really make a big impact on prioritizing your well-being and finding more work-life harmony. And also, I want to remind everyone that this is only day 8 of the 12 days curve career goals. So we're going to have 4 more amazing days packed with such incredible speakers and amazing discussions, and I don't want you to miss out on that. So make sure that you are registered on the 12 days of career goals, because you're not only getting the link to these incredible daily live events with our amazing speakers, but I'm also giving away some really big holiday prizes this year. I've never done it before. Don't know if I'll ever do that again, but this is your chance to win a brand new resume. So the biggest prize here is the ultimate resume upgrade, which is a brand new resume for you. Wouldn't that be just the best holiday gift? I'm also giving away a one-on-one deep dive coaching session. I'm a career clarity coach. So for 1 hour, we're going to dive together into career clarity and finding the answer to the big what's next for you. I'm also giving away a standout LinkedIn profile, which makes you really a standout candidate on that platform, so that recruiters are going to be attracted to you and you can stand out as their ideal candidate. And last but not least, my ultimate transferable skills guide, which is a must-have for anyone who wants to make a career change, to identify their transferable skills and the ones that you want to be using going forward, and having a clear list of skills that you want to communicate to potential employers. So make sure that you are registered. You can either scan the barcode or you can go to bit.ly 12 days of career goals. And then we are going to be back here tomorrow when we're going to have Tiffany Human here on. We're going to be talking about how to define your personal brand. I hope that today's event has inspired you, and I can't wait to see you back here tomorrow.